Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being part of this discussion about Latin America. My name is Roberto Regianini. I'm the CEO of FBMDS, company that develop localized content, especially to Latin America, Spain, and Portugal. And I'm very happy today to start this panel saying that it's a great opportunity to discuss Latin America here in SiGMA. I think one of the first time that you're approaching this subject, which is very important, especially because the upcoming regulation that is happening in LATAM. So on top of that, to be sharing this panel with such knowledgeable partners and colleagues from our industry. To start this panel today, I would love to ask for my friends to introduce yourself. Initially, we have my great friend Peter on my left here. Please be the honor.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. My name's Peter Murray. I head up the gaming team here at Veriff, and Veriff do global authentication technology, so the biometric end of KYC, AML, onboarding, and fraud.
Please, Diego from Altenar.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Diego. I'm working at Altenar. Basically, we are a fully managed sportbook solution for operators across the world.
Mr. Thomas.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. Great to see the fantastic interest in Latin America. My name is Thomas Carvalhaes. I'm from Brazil. I currently act as the managing director for an operation in Brazil. In the last 15 years, I've been launching and managing iGaming operations in Brazil mainly. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. My name is Alessandro Valente. I'm the co-founder of Super Afiliados and also the Brazilian iGaming Summit, which is nowadays the most important event in Latin America. And I thank you all for being here today with us. Thank you.
Lovely. With that said, with that presentation, we've been discussing how to approach Latin America for international audience. So we try to bring some kind of localization to the discussion. And we see in some markets in Latin America, as the province of Buenos Aires, which requests to have a local partner to become one of the regulators, operator in that market. So I would like to start saying, asking for my colleagues here, that how important it is to be the early relationships with the companies and partners that have local knowledge. We can start with regarding Brazil, for instance, Thomas. You're very much in the Brazilian situation. Please give it a point of view.
Thank you very much, Roberto. I appreciate the question. Yeah, I think it is extremely important. I normally say this, and I will repeat it. I'm sure most of the audience here will know about it already. There's no such a thing as LATAM market. There's no Latin American market. As the same way you can't say there is an European market because there isn't such a thing. Latin America is a huge, massive continent. If you look at Brazil only, we have more than 210 million people. Brazil is a country of continental proportion. Therefore, you can't approach Latin America as one single market. So going back to the question posed by Roberto, it is extremely important that we consider localization, tropicalization, although not everybody believes that, and I've seen some strategies working against tropicalization. However, Latin Americans, Brazilians are very, very relational people. So there's got to be local intel, local knowledge on your CRM structure, on your marketing approach and strategy. Besides this, Roberto, I can also tell you, besides the intel, especially when it comes to Brazil, I got to put an extra point here that Brazilians are not used to gambling yet. There's no land-based casinos in Brazil. Casinos have been banned in the 40s. Therefore, on top of your marketing CRM strategies, there's got to be an educational approach, pretty much grabbing the Brazilian by their hand, teaching them in form of video tutorials, educational approach. I'm really trying to sum it up here because we're a bit like running. Time goes very quickly, but that's what I would say, yes. Yeah.
Alessandro, you would like to add something on this point, please?
Yeah, I tend to disagree in just one bit of an issue here. The Brazilians are gamblers, illegally gambling. It's just a little bit different from when you go to Dragonada Casino and walk in and place your bets and you walk away and it's all for good. He has gambling there, enrooted. Now, it's just a different gambling situation altogether. But the localization and relying on local partners is a key. You can't just hire people in Portugal to provide customer support, for example, for the Brazilian audience. They just don't speak the same language. Yeah. And they will struggle to understand each other. So, localization is key, but local partner is also vital.
Yeah. If I may say, I agree with Thomas in the point of view that he gives, because in South America, you should see every single country and a specific market. But most likely, you need to also localization and flexibility of the product that you are providing in the market is important. Because let's take as an example, Colombia. In Colombia, 95% of the bets in sports are related to soccer. But if you go to Peru, Mexico, most of them are let's say, the player behavior is most to American sports. They like baseball, they like hockey, they like NBA. So it's important to have the local partner and also to have the knowledge of the player behavior in order to do customer support, to, let's say, to customize your offer to the specific market. This is, let's say, the most important part in this part from South America.
Yeah, and I think just to add to that, because I would agree, I think we've seen the big brands come into other parts of the world, and if they take a one-size-fits-all approach, it simply won't work. They like different games, different mindsets. The customers, which is ultimately the heart of your business, the customers are indifferent in every single one of those countries. So if you fail to take a local approach, you will fail. And we've seen that elsewhere.
Peter, I go back to you, actually, on the B2B level. So how a local partner can help international company to customize their product?
Yeah, I think it's probably much of what I just said there. I think it's understanding the customer within the jurisdiction that you're working in. And nobody will know that better than the people that are already there. So you may have a game or some solution that works well in other countries, does not mean it's going to work well in Brazil or even Argentina, Colombia, Peru. So I think that understanding of people on the ground is absolutely vital. And in our world, it's slightly different because we provide the technology around identity. And that's generally a technology sell. But simple stuff like the right language, not just Spanish, for example. It's the various different angles of that. What documents do they use? How do they want to see their customer journey? Because a lot of what I deal with regulators is around what does the customer expect to see? Their expectations are changing and they're different. And if you take an approach you might do in the UK, it's not going to work out there. So I think that local knowledge, understanding, adapting both your games, your onboarding process, your back office is absolutely vital if you want to succeed.
Would you like to add something, Diego?
Yes, in the case, it's also important to understand, for example, the banking industry. Some countries, the players, they don't have accessibility to have a bank account. So it's important for the operator to understand how the players is going to top up their accounts, how they are going to do the process, the KYC. There are some countries that they have, let's say, the behavior of the player, they cannot do that. So it's important to have this kind of softwares also in understanding the banking, how you are going to have this omni-channel when it comes important to some countries. You should have online solution and retail solution, let's say, all aligned in order to lead your traffic from online to retail, from retail to online.
I think Alessandro makes a very fair point. In addition to my previous comments, I agree, because although what I meant to say is Brazilians are not exposed to a land-based casino reality like you have in Colombia, in Uruguay, and some other countries, we are very superstitious people. That is right. We are born with the tendency of being superstitious, of waking up on the right feet, of betting on this popular animals game called, you know, some of you will know already about Jogo do Bicho. If you have a dream of a horse, you will go look for where you can place a bet on the horse, and then you make money like that. So it's a very fair point. What I mean to say is that for us, online gaming operators, be it sports bet, be it online casino, we need to educate them. We need to educate our target audience when it comes to e-commerce, because that lacks a lot. And also slot, even basic slot games, you know, you don't understand. I mean, you put a regular Brazilian in front of a slot game with many lines and possibilities, betting on coins or credits, they don't know. So there's got to be stuff like that that helps them understand the basics. And going back to Roberto's question, I just want to try and give some more clarity as for what is localization, because we keep throwing this word around, but we don't give a meaning to it. And why is it so important to have local knowledge? When it comes to Brazil and Latin America, I can say for most cases, it's really about understanding the culture. It's as simple as that. Okay, that's what localization means. How do you relate to your target audience? I'm speaking to Alessandro. I know what Alessandro likes. I understand more or less his hobbies as a Brazilian. I'm going to try to put my communication on that level. That's what we mean by localization. Localization, regionalization, tropicalization, which is Alessandro's favorite, is a must in Brazil and Latin America.
And imagine a country where low level of literacy and education, it's playing its part in the whole journey of a customer. And then it comes a company like Peter has, that automates the system for KYC and makes the registration process easier. These things are very helpful because the players, education, yes, we can educate a player, we can teach them, etc. As an affiliate, we try to, but it's hard.
Yeah.
And people are sometimes lazy. And even if you send like videos or images, infographics, they still prefer something easy.
Yeah.
Easy process to register, to make a deposit, the KYC, and betting. Simple. Crash games now in Brazil. Massive. Massive.
Yeah.
We're seeing numbers on such websites that I never thought I would see in Brazil. Because crash games is so easy.
Yeah.
You don't need to understand anything. You just press a button. Once, twice, done.
Correct.
So this
interesting.
automation is amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's about user experience. So that localization, making it right for the people. But that generation that's going to sustain our industry and help it grow doesn't look like this. It's much younger, much more tech savvy. They want speed. They want access quickly. They want their data to be safe and secure, but they want it done fast. They will not put up with what, say, around Europe, typing data in, taking time to onboard. So you're absolutely right. They want their games a certain way. They want their AML the same. They want it quick, reliable, and trustworthy. But ultimately, what does the customer want? That's the most important thing, I think.
We are witness like at the global level, some M&As happening in LATAM. How you see this new trend, like international players, bigger players, especially from like Europe, trying to acquire JV with the local partners in Brazil today? You guys see is like is a normal trend in the market right now? Thomas, Alessandro?
Well, foreign money coming in a country, that anything, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Plus the knowledge, European knowledge, going into a space that there is a lot of potential.
Yep.
I think it's a very good combination.
Yep.
Joint ventures, M&As, they are going on like crazy now in Brazil.
Yep.
Investment, right? You are seeing that with your closed eyes as well.
Yep. I agree 100%. I think it raises the bar. I think it makes the market even more efficient and professional because, again, there's always been a gambling and a betting market in Brazil. There's been many solutions. People like startups, developers, programmers came up with their own solution. Now they're having to step up, or they're having to use like better, I can say, better solutions or be acquired by bigger operation and then start up a new operation. So I only see benefits. I think it's good for the market. It's good for the operators. It's just like a win-win combination for sure.
Diego?
I would say that nowadays we are seeing big companies or big operators coming to South America that actually now understand what they need to do, getting into partnership with local players or local technologies in the market who is going to provide, let's say, the expertise in the market combined to the expertise from the local operator. So it's totally, let's say, important to do that.
Yeah, I think we talk a lot about adapting for, say, Brazil or Argentina, but the guys that are acquiring the companies, they bring experience. So they will bring scalability, take the best bits of what they've done and sort of push aside the bits that won't work within that jurisdiction. But yeah, the years of experience from a technological point of customer experience is vital. So the M&A activity, we've seen it everywhere. It's the same in the US as that matures and grows. So it's only to be expected, but I think it puts at the heart of how important Latin America generally, but Brazil in particular, is that you see all the M&A activity going on.
Yeah, but for that, for sure, especially in the Brazilian case, I think the market is waiting for like a very clear framework for regulation. You know, I think it's a point that in somehow we have to bring also for the audience, and we're still like waiting for the regulation for the sports book in Brazil for almost 4 years. Actually, the next month we're gonna be like almost 4 years that we're waiting for like the sports book regulation, and we understood that without that one, any kind of M&A or JV gonna be weak. So without like a clear like a path to make a proper investment, a solid way to do that, it's difficult. So we are still waiting in Brazil, but you have a good examples. Let's say Colombia. Colombia is a market that like they did very well their job. You know, and somehow is a kind of a very similar regulation that we can find here in Spain.
Yeah.
So Thomas, you had some experience in the Colombian market as well, right? So in the past. So how you see that kind of good examples when some regulations try to bring good things that you see internationally, you adapt and customize for local reality?
I think Colombia has been a fantastic example. Colombia is amazing. If I look at the Latin American markets, I think for me, okay, personal opinion, Colombia is the best example when it comes to clarity. Operators know what they're going to be taxed upon. A marketing scenario, it's a healthy play field. So that's definitely one example to look at. However, and Diego coming from Colombia can correct me, there is a bit of uncertainty happening now in Colombia because Petro has won. And Petro has a bit more of a, what can I say, a bit of a socialist approach to things. So I don't know how operators, land-based and online operators in Colombia are thinking, but I've been reading a lot about Petro takes office next year, right? He will take office next year. So Colombia has been almost forever being ruled by a right-wing president. Now we have a left-wing president with a lot of new ideas around cannabis, around a lot more stuff. So I'm looking forward. I'm not going to try and project anything for Colombia here, but again, been a fantastic market, but I'll leave it up to Diego as well if you want to add comments, being his country.
Actually, Thomas touched a really important point nowadays. Colombia is the leader, let's say, was the first country to be regulated in South America. And now with the new president that we have there, we are getting into the trouble because he's imposing nowadays, he's proposing to get a 30% tax, which is going to be on the player side. This basically is pushing the players to go to the black market. Nowadays, this is the question mark that all the operators are putting on the table because it's not going to make fair the industry in Colombia anymore. So let's see how this is going to pan out next year. And let's say But nowadays, operators are doing very well in the market. Let's say the main business there is online. In retail, it's important for the operators to have these shops where the players can withdraw money and can top up the accounts. Basically, the leaders such as BetPlay, WPlay, RushBet, they are leaders because they own mostly the whole shops around the country.
As that was the first time that we discussed Latin America here in SiGMA, I would love to open for audience. If you would like to do any question for anyone here, please feel free. You still have like 2 minutes, I would say. Anyone would like to approach with any question?
No, I think they've done it. I just want to make one point at the end, which is that's the importance that regulators get it right, because they make or break a market. And I think it's always reviewed. So if you look at the UK at the moment, which is a bit of a disaster generally around regulation, that's why regulators, Colombia's done a great job getting it there, but then they might change. So everybody in this room needs to work as one team to make sure that we work with regulators. I know regulators have to listen, but we can only do one, go as one voice so that then everybody's protected and covered. But regulators, as I say, can make or break a jurisdiction.
We definitely could spend more time talking about Latin America, every specific market. But I would like to thank you, all of you guys, for your time. Thank you for the audience to have this attention with this prominent market, which is Latin America. For all of us that are somehow Latin, Peter is almost, and we really appreciate it. Thank you, SiGMA, as well, to give us the opportunity. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much.